front of them who will be talking on my experiences in developing a startup. So basically, I'll share a presentation with few slides where I'll be talking about how I'm working on my startup and what motivated me for the startup. So I'm Dr. Sharmili Mane. I'm from Kolhapur, Maharashtra. Recently, I completed my PhD in chemical engineering from Curtin University, Australia in 2018, and after that, I'm back to Kagal, my hometown, where I established this YD Mane Research Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. I'm working as a director with this research center, then founder director with Pure Me Organics Private Limited, which is like maybe be the startup and advisor for the Kagal Education Society. Now I'll first start with the Kagal Education Society.
Madam,
Now,
sorry to disturb. Your video is not there. Not switched on.
oh, okay, sir, sorry. Just give me. Can you see it now, sir?
Yes, 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 madam.
Okay. So first I would start with the Kagal Education Society. I completed my PhD in 2018 and then I was back to my rural town that is in Kagal to help my family in our education institutes. So the Kagal Education Society is a non-profit organization founded in the year 1960 by my grandfather, Honorable Late Shri Vadi Mane. This is the website. You can refer to this website. And since then, the vision for this education institutes, establishing this education institute, is to serve the different strata of society by providing them education and to make them financially independent. And since then, KES is growing into educational, agriculture, and social sectors by rendering services to more than 15,000 students belonging to underprivileged area and rural areas of Kagal. Kagal is basically situated on Maharashtra-Karnataka border. So we are serving to the students in and around Kagal. And today KES runs host of 22 institutes, including primary schools, secondary schools, colleges, and professional institutes such as technical education, pharmacy, nursing, and agriculture. So being educationalist, my grandfather was also a great farmer with the vision of growing and upgrading farming technology. And continuing this same vision, KES now has entered into its research sector with its recent venture that is Vaidi Mane Research Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. So initially for the 2 years, I assisted my father in administrating these educational institutes. I studied how educational institute should be, and then I established this YD Mane Research Center for Agriculture and Rural Development. So basically, what we do at this research center is we are focusing on agriculture technology, agroeconomics, and socio-economics development to rebuild farmers' self-reliance and resourcefulness. So I belong to an agriculture family also. So, as I belong to the rural area also, I always, every day, I see the problems the farmers are facing. So, uh, we are working on solving these problems faced by farmers by agriculture technology and agroeconomic development. So basically, our vision is to form the biggest community of well-trained farmers who can then guide other farmers and their families, leading to agroeconomic and socio-economic development of the society. So we promote agriculture development with the help of science and technology, and we are working on giving services, four types of services. So workshops and trainings, basically we understand the needs of local farmers and we arrange workshops and training as per their needs in collaboration with our partner organization. Then entrepreneurship skill development of farmers community, where we are coming here, we are setting up livelihood business incubation center where farmers will be incubated and motivated to market their farm produce. Then we are also undertaking research projects in collaboration with many local and international universities, which will address the agriculture, technology, agroeconomic, and socio-economic issues, and women empowerment programs also, where we are focusing more on women participation in agriculture. Now, what motivated me to this startup? Like as I earlier mentioned, I belong to an agriculture and educational family where my family is continuously into serving the society. Therefore, following their footsteps, this research center was established, and through this research center, I interact with farmers and their families and understand the problems they are facing. So, belonging to Kolhapur, which is like Jaggery capital of India, I have also interacted with many farmers who produce sugarcane as a major crop and would desire to get into jaggery products at their farm gates instead of sending sugarcanes to sugar mills and waiting for the permits. But their major concern, which they have shown, is non-availability of appropriate technology for jaggery products. That is where I decided to work on a startup which can provide a sustainable ecosystem for processing and production of a range of innovative chemical-free non-hygroscopic food products from jaggery, which can compete with the available sugar products. So this is the startup which I am going to talk about, which is like Pure Me Organics Private Limited. So it will solve the pain of farmers and also it will excite the consumers. So our business model is basically we are empowering the local farmers who are associated with our research center by manufacturing of our innovative value-added products through Pure Me Organics Private Limited to excite the consumer who prefers jaggery in their diet rather than sugar. So basically, I consider sugar as empty calories and jaggery is a calories with nutrients. So there are many people, consumers in the market who are ready to replace sugar with jaggery, but they have shown the inconvenience using these jaggery products due to these four A's, which I'm considering as my targeted problem. These four A's are causing inconvenience for jaggery lovers like availability, affordability, acceptability, and awareness. Now, sugar products are available. They are available at affordable cost. I mean, you can see in the picture, the sugar candies are available. Table sugar is available in the sachet. Non-hygroscopic forms of sugars are available. Sugar syrup is available. Sugar cubes are available. But jaggery products are not available in this different range of products. So acceptability and awareness. Now, acceptability and awareness about jaggery and its health benefits, it's already there in the market. But availability of jaggery products at affordable cost, it's still not there, which is causing this inconvenience for the jaggery lovers. So basically, we are targeting these two problems: availability of the jaggery products at affordable cost. So we are coming up with different technology where we can produce jaggery products which can compete the sugar market, and so it can give a chance to enter the FMCG market for sugar. So we are collaborating with different institutes, our partner organization for this technology development. And our technology is simple, which can be also implemented at different places in our areas, like democratization of technology, where anyone can, with proper training through our research center, uh, all the farmers can also adapt to this technology to produce these jaggery products. So basically, what is required to do a startup is the journey from idea to startup is you need to understand the targeted problem. Like in the morning session, Vikas sir told about you need to think about a problem ahead of your time, like think about the future and target the problem. Then think about what your solution can be, which also includes the innovative quotient in it. Then you need to find out your targeted customer, what customer wants. It shouldn't be like you have product and then you are going to customer. You need to think about the targeted market and what your customer want. Market size you need to understand. You need to know who are your competitors and what are the competitive advantages you have with you, so that you can compete with those competitors. Then find out the potential partners for investments, for technology, for marketing. Then you need to have your revenue model and business goal. So basically, this is the small pictorial presentation on how to start a startup. So like in the morning session, it was mentioned, you need to live in the future ahead of your time to think about what you can serve to the society. Then find out what is missing in the world, write it down, work on it, and make your product, make a prototype. Then show it to few people, let's say 100 people. Iterate on the prototype until it makes sense. Discuss with those 100 people, take their feedback, analyze their feedback, and iterate on the prototype until it makes sense. Then you need to find a co-founder or your team members to register the company. Then look for funding. Now, when you have innovative idea and when your company is registered as a startup, there are a lot of fundings available. Uh, which are provided by the government. Now, 6 months before, when I was having this idea, 2 years only, I started working on this startup. 6 months before it, everything was like impossible for me because I was like, what to do, how to get funding, how to approach government for funding. But with the proper mentoring, you can approach the government for funding. So you need to look for the funding. Once you get the funding, launch your product. Then once your product is launched, go to 1,000 users, get their feedback. If those 100 people are coming back to you, then grow 5% every week, and then you can reach to your success. If those 100 people are not coming to you, launch your product again, think why they are not coming, and then iterate on your product and again launch your product. So this is like basic ideas on how a startup should be there. Now, uh, I'm working in guidance with Mr. Senthil Kumar, who is again the next speaker, who is director with IMPA Section 8 company and advisor to Arunachalam Trust, mentor also to Atal Incubation Center. Professor Moni sir, he is chairman of Center for Agriculture Informatics Research and E-Governance Studies, Shobit University, Meerut, and former director general for and of National Informatics Center, Government of India. Dr. Shivakiran sir, who is incubation manager for Atal Incubation Center, Anantapur, and Mrs. Gayatri, she is the coordinator. She is coordinating between all of us. So you need to have the right mentors at right stage. Like it is said earlier also, you need to network with the right people. So 6 months before, it was like a dream for me now how I should do all these things, how I should approach people. But with the proper guidance of all these mentors, now I'm converting my dream into reality. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of students. I hope few words are going to inspire the students. And like I am also in the developing stage. So even if you at a student stage, if you have problems in understanding those difficulties and how to encounter those difficulties, you can approach me. You can contact me through my email at any time, and I would be able to help you at any point of time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. You nicely presented the point of how the startup can be identified. I mean, the problem and market size. So it's very good, a very nice presentation, madam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Now I would like to call Senthil Kumar sir to present his views.
Okay. Thank you so much for the organizers of the college and the respected faculty members, teachers who are grooming the future of India. Uh, I have to thank the three speakers who spoke today because they are the practical examples of entrepreneurship. Uh, in fact, Vikas has gone the next level of supporting the entrepreneurs with the platform, which inspired me a lot. In fact, Manoj is also doing in his capacity. He is supporting the other entrepreneurs who is approaching him. That inspired me a lot. And the third one, Dr. Sharmili also, the motto of her entrepreneurship is to actually to improve the farmer's income. So all these three people, I was inspired. So now I have just a few points to tell about my observation about what was the past in a nutshell manner, what is the present happening, as well as what is the future. I will be touching these three things. First of all, I would like to tell what is the problem right now. What is in a general manner. The problem right now is the people are there who are ready to give the resource is not known to the people who are in need. That is a bigger problem. Even despite of this uh, technology era, where we are seeing children from the age of 2 or 3, they start knowing how to use a internet or mobile or anything. Still, I feel we are in a situation where there is the we don't know who is the needy person. We are not connected with the giver. I'm talking in case of entrepreneurship. So different models are available. Conventional models are broken now. Now the challenges will be how the new age business can happen, breaking all the myths and prejudices like the product should be available only in a retail outlet or in a wholesale, or the conventional method of stocking when the material is available at cheap and selling it when the price is going up. All these things, it's not the right thing. And of course, the methods of using social media or internet or e-commerce, all these things is going to change the way in a big way. And from this current scenario of COVID also, I found a lot of raw materials are lying in the farmer producer companies which I am dealing with. So the farmer producer companies are not having technology to take forward the raw materials, or that means the commodities or the cereals or pulses, or even yesterday I have received one data which is alarming from the forest department. I received the information something around 140 crores of materials are lying in the godowns of the forest department, which is natural, which is not organic, which is natural, and no buyers. And definitely we all can benefit out of this data, which is that's what I am going to provide now the scenario. Even I even started my work as an advisor for a project in Government of India in 2016. After my 23 years of corporate career, one day I went to an IAS officer to tell. On a Saturday I met him. On Friday evening I got the appointment. Saturday I met him. On Monday, I became the advisor of the project because he told, sir, if you know about this project very well, why don't you join as an advisor? I never know that is possible, but I was appointed as a special officer on duty on Monday itself, and they started giving me all the benefits like a government servant. I was the number two in the organization, so I went to the forest. There, I found this lantana camera, which was unutilized by anybody. This lantana camera, I spoke about this opportunity in one university on October 29th, where I gave the data. In India, 7 lakh square kilometer is occupied by the forest. I'm not talking about the total geographical area. I'm talking only about only forest area. In the forest area, lantana camera has occupied more than 40%. That means out of 7 lakh square kilometer, around 3.5 lakh square kilometer is occupied by a weed plant. And all of them, that means including the forest, government, or all the officials, are telling it's a problem. But I never saw it as a problem. It's actually an opportunity for us because we are importing even small items which is made from wood or pine or even bamboo from other countries like Bhutan, China, and other countries, even for making small things like agarbatti. And if I tell you, in one district itself, in this 2017 December, the forest department was able to sell every month 1,000 tons of lantana for a agarbatti manufacturer. Whereas the agarbatti manufacturer imported 1,000 tons every month at a rate of 80 rupees from other countries. Now, in the same district, the state government has allowed from the forest department, and they are getting the raw material almost 1/10th of the price. But it is a win-win situation because the people who are procuring the raw material earlier didn't had an opportunity to sell it to a manufacturer. Now the manufacturer is also able to produce the product at a lesser raw material cost. So what I'm trying to tell is, don't look at the West. Don't think about what other countries are doing. Now just think of how much we are importing even for ordinary things. That data is available with me. I'm ready to provide the data. See, exporting and getting income is one thought process. Like what Vikas has told, other things. What we can produce, compete with the global market is very tough, but it is possible. I'm not telling it is not. But imagine whatever we are importing, can we do it with our own raw material with the better technology? That's what I'm talking about. In fact, I gone to the level of converting waste into value. In fact, we are planning to start a center of excellence in Shobit University near Meerut very soon, where it is only 65 kilometers from Delhi. So we are going to showcase what are the products we are importing from other countries. For example, even a small item like a button, the dress materials which we use every year in one particular city in India, name it Tirupur, it is a cluster where they are offering almost 45,000 crore worth of materials are exported from only that one city because of the textile cluster. And imagine the plastic buttons which we are using in the clusters in India, let it be Surat or Mumbai or Tirupur, it will be more than 1,000 crores per year. And for your information, these buttons are imported. For what we have to import? When it can be done through a simple raw material like lantana, and the manufacturing process also can be made in a very simple manner, like what Sharmili told, appropriate, very economical at the farm level, farm gate level itself, we can do it, and it will improve the farmer's income, as well as technology intervention can be supported by Vikas or Manoj, because Vikas and Manoj have not seen my innovation. Only Sharmili knows about my innovation. So what I'm trying to tell is, let us think about local, and this Atmanirbhar, the government what is planning is this MSME. In fact, the 3 days before or 1 week before, because they arranged a webinar about cluster talking, the government, I personally, I established two common facility centers, and I was also thinking at utilizing the existing buildings of our own patrons. See, we have around 500 education institutions, our patrons. The educational institutions which we have, they have already building land and everything. They don't know how to use it. So let us not construct new buildings, new everything with our available resources. And the resources which we are not using it, we can convert into a usable one. For that, we have to collaborate. I always use these three words, which Manoj already told. I always use these three words: collaborate, cooperate, and coordinate. And one more word I want to add, it is co-create now. Co-create is the word which I want to add now. And let it be not only a word, it is possible, because based on my input, I was there in Sitapur near Lucknow. One of the few scientists from Krishi Vigyan Kendra, KVK, they adapted our model, and around 200 women, destitute women who are having some domestic violent affected women, were supported by the scientists of KVK to produce a lot of small items like buttons and everything. Now they are asking me to help in marketing rather than making bigger furniture, sofa, or whatever it is. Small items can be done with my innovation. So what I'm trying to tell you is, let us not think in a normal way. It's also called as design thinking, or out of the box thinking, or divergent thinking, or whatever it is. So uh, I'm very much interested to tell the students that there are certain models, like the social enterprise model is there, and of course exponential organization models are there. Nobody is talking about exponential organization. Nobody is talking about social enterprises. It's nothing but collaborate with each other. What is your strength? What is the other collaborator? If somebody is having some infrastructure, if somebody is having some money, if somebody is having some other resource, collaborate with them for the next 1 or 2 to 3 years. You can, like Manoj told, bankers will support once you are able to provide, prove your balance or all these things. That 1 to 2 or 3 years, you can work with your own funds, get the support from the parents or friends or relatives, pool your resources, put together, then run it for a period of 2 to 3 years. Show, because now government is also supporting, like one district, one product, one scheme is there. I'm able to see a lot of schemes are announced by the government. Sorry to say, the youngsters are always interested only in easy money. They are not ready to put hard work. But it's not wrong. They are pampered like that. As Dr. T. Rajshekhar was telling, it's the parent who are influencing. But it's okay. Even if the class strength is 100, for example, in a class, if there is 100, even if 5 people are becoming an entrepreneur, I'll be happy. So this exponential organization concept is catching up in a very big manner for the past 6 years. Now, during this COVID pandemic, exponential organization is more relevant, because wherever, whatever it is available, we have to collaborate, and locally, whatever materials which are unutilized, we have to do it. Why we have to import so many items from other countries when we can make the quality products from ourselves? For example, from Karnataka, iron ore is exported to Japan, and the world number one company in steel is Akzo Nobel. They are importing the iron ore from Karnataka and selling the same, maybe Manoj knows it, selling the same value added steel to India at a 5 times or 6 times the cost. So why we have to still be the technologically drained country? We have best brains, we have ITs, we have colleges like yours. So why we have to sell as a raw material? Abdul Kalam was telling in his vision 2020, earlier in 2002 or 3 itself, we are selling raw material and buying value added products to India. So that is the reason behind. So this cluster formation, this self-help group, or this farmer producer company, or exponential organizations, So many opportunities are available now. The new age entrepreneurship, the fostering the new entrepreneurs. These colleges are all now giving a platform, and we are all ready to support. So the three segments which are going to have a big growth in the next 10 years, according to me, is Ayurvedic and medicinal plants and all other things. Ayurveda items, not the allopathy. I'm talking about Ayurvedic items, medicinal plants, and other thing. Second one is food items. Let it be spices or let it be cereals or pulses and even value-added materials. So concentrate on these items. There are plenty of opportunity available for exporting these items even to Europe. I'll just give a simple example. $60 million biscuits are imported in Europe every month, not every year, every month. And the contribution from India is only 1%. Can't we produce world-class quality biscuits from the resources what we have, and can't we supply even $1 billion? $60 billion is the opportunity, whereas we are supplying only 1 million. It's not even in percentage I can tell. So the opportunities are there. Only thing, the collaboration is not there. And one organization which I love and I will quote everywhere in the world, the example for collaboration and cooperation is Amul. I was there in Amul for 5 to 7 days. Practically, I understood what is happening there. In fact, Andhra government or Telangana government recently they signed an MOU with Amul to make the self-help groups available in that state to adapt the model. So the Amul model is very simple. That model can be adapted by the students also, if possible. People can see what Amul has done. The last year turnover, they achieved 52,000 crore. I'm not motivating for the turnover, but each and every person involved in the Amul process is a partner in the organization, like a shareholder. So that kind of social enterprise we have to create. Not one person can become an entrepreneur. As Manoj told, or Vikas, or Sharmili, we have to collaborate with others, with the like-minded people. 10 students can join together. At least they can put a savings of 10,000 rupees or whatever it is. Some money can be got as a loan. Some place we can hire, not as a hiring. Some we can ask them some space. So it's not that only with the money or big capital or everything a person can become an entrepreneur. And together is everybody can achieve more. That is a team which I want to tell. As a psychometric assessor, basically I'm a psychometric assessor too. What I would like to tell is to become a successful entrepreneur, more than 16 traits has to be there. It's inborn as well as it can be developed. So I would request most of the people who are attending this webinar or the college people to give importance to psychometric assessment also to identify the potential entrepreneurs, because none of the incubation center which I am talking about, they never for the employment companies are asking for a psychometric assessment, but have you done it for the incubation? Nobody is telling. Everybody is telling no. So only when you do a psychometric assessment, you will know what is your strength. I don't tell it is a weakness, the gray areas and potential threats, like a SWOT analysis we can do, and we can group together. For example, if 10 people are there, 2 people can concentrate on sales, 2 people can concentrate on marketing, 2 people can concentrate on production, 2 people can concentrate on quality or something like that. So that can be done only if you know the individual strength as well as the team strength. So, this opportunity given for me to tell something which I know. Thank you so much. And as I'm always there to ready to support for any potential entrepreneur for their linkages, forward linkages, connection and network or anything, I'm always available. Thank you so much.
So, Senthil sir, shall I share your PPT to show your pictures?
You can show it, sir. Only the pictures you can show. Whatever I have done, whatever appreciation I got it from Lieutenant Governor Kiran Pedi and all. Only that photos you can.
Right.
It was a waste. It was a weed plant available in the forest, which that is converted into a usable material. And my innovation is about. Sir, you can go. My innovation is not in the furniture. This is the existing one which I saw in the forest. Next, sir. Next, sir. This is the existing one which the forest people are doing into before when I went there. So I just wanted to change the way how it is used. Sir. Next. this is the wheelchair which is available in Puttaparthi in Satya Sai Institute of Higher Medical Science. When I went there as a just to see the for some other work, I saw this. They told that this is gifted by World United Nations or so many other people across India. They have 1,000 chairs, which is a combination of a plastic chair and metal one. And it's striked. Why can't I make the chairman of the hospital? I asked him to provide the model. So the next I made from the lantana, which is as strong as a wood. I made this prototype model. In fact, we are working on this with this lantana, which is a plant actually, which is not even a tree. It is a plant, which is a waste one. We are planning to make it electric, as well as we are also in the process of making drones out of this, and so many other things we are planning to help the physically challenged people in India. More than 5 crore people are there in India. So, and I made this model where it can be produced in a jail rather than making in a factory. So then I approached Kiran Bedi madam to allow me to help the or train the jail inmates in Pondicherry. And she was also the reformer in Tihar. All of you know, 25 years before she was doing great reform in Tihar jail in Delhi. So she helped me, but because of the COVID pandemic, I have not progressed fast. Then she told whatever help required to be done in a jail, because inside the jail the people are there idle from the morning to evening, as they are the people. In Tamil Nadu itself, more than 15,000 people are there inside the jail who will be serving their term in the jail for the next 10 years. So water, manpower, building, land, everything is available inside the jail. And per person, for your information, how much money you have to pay for a person per day is not more than 80 rupees you have to pay, because the government is already spending for food. So I'm just utilizing the waste plant as well as the people who are waste available there in the place. So like that only I planned. So my model was appreciated. In fact, 2 government organizations are ready to fund. Because of the COVID, I have not progressed. So that's the information I want to give. Next. And these are all the small innovations which I done. Buttons has been made, and so many other small items can be made. Very simple manner, it can be done in a home or in a small units. So that even I was thinking about how physically challenged people can be trained to make it. So my idea is to make a social developmental model where the available raw materials can be converted into a good products with some not much with the latest machineries. With the appropriate machines, it can be done. So next slide, please. See, this data is about alarming. Almost in Indian country, 18 states now more than 40% of the forest is now occupied by lantana, and it is also the main reason for catching fire. So I was actually suggesting to Indian government about lantana camera mission, like national bamboo mission has to be taken place, so that so many people can utilize. They don't know what to do. They are actually thinking lantana as a problem, but I'm seeing lantana as an opportunity. Next slide. Next, please. So if you can see, in India, more than 6.5 crore physically challenged people are there who are not able to afford the cost of even 5,000 rupees of a wheelchair, because the parents are thinking them as a they are not able to think of them as a they are useful. So we can provide accessibility to the physically challenged people, as well as they can be trained to make small items. Of course, the lantana can be removed from the forest, which can be used, which can be an alternative for plywood, weed, in fact, bamboo, cane, and other plastic materials, even metals. So it can be also used as a biomass. And lantana camera removed from the forest and restoring it with the bamboo will help restoring the biodiversity of the environment. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. A few questions. Now I request Venkateswarlu, Dr. D. Venkateswarlu to ask questions on behalf of participants.
Sir, thank you, Senthil sir, for your nice disclosure, sir. Nice disclosure, and we are able to get solved so many kinds of apprehensions related to entrepreneurship, and at the same time, you have touched upon valid points that this kind of 140 crores worth of agricultural land has been remained unused in the forest areas, and so it is very informative, sir. Very informative with facts and figures. So in this context, shall I start with you, sir? Asking just participants are posing very enthusiastically some questions, sir. Just I want to ask those questions, sir.
Whatever we know, we tell. Whatever we don't know, we will search and tell.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Okay, sir. Sure.
Nobody can tell that I know everything. We can search
Yeah,
and
exactly.
also.
That is right, sir. That is right, sir. And one participant has asked, sir, first we'll start with Vikas Mandral, sir. Vikas Mandral,
Yeah.
sir. Because, sir,
Yes, sir.
there is a question, sir, from the participant that you have highlighted one point, sir. System-wide transformation you have highlighted, sir. You have mentioned system-wide transformation. So,
Right.
participant asking that how is this kind of system-wide transformation works out for entrepreneurship development?
Yeah, so system-wide transformation is about the environment, business environment in which business works. So what I want to say is what was valid 20 years back in doing business is no more valid right now. Way back, say 20 years back, it was the capital market which was driving the business. But today it is much more on, geopolitical situation. For example, today we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat because the situation demands so. Because the geopolitical situation which has come out of the backlash for China demands it for. So what I mean to say from this is the rules which was there 20 years back are no more valid right now. So this talks about system-wide transformation. Also talks about how we prepare our businesses, how we prepare our thoughts on what will be valid in the future and not what was valid in the past.
Okay. Sir, one more question, sir, from the participants that nowadays rapid urbanization has been taking place, sir, from movement of people from rural areas to urban areas. And in this context, when we wanted to focus on the rural areas for using effectively this kind of agricultural farm produce, okay, for entrepreneurship business, when we are losing this kind of talented and like hardworking people from moving from rural areas to urban areas, how can we handle this kind of situation, sir? How can we handle this kind of situation?
I think the answer to it is itself in the topic of the seminar, which talks about entrepreneurship and startups. So entrepreneurship and startups, when it comes from tier 2 cities or rural areas, then of course it will bring in employment over there. So people should not travel from, say, interior areas to over here. So I belong to a place known as Uttarakhand. So this state, most of the people, they migrate from there in search for employment, and I am one of them. So had there been ample opportunities for entrepreneurship, ample ecosystem for entrepreneurship, and today which is much more better than what it was way back, so it would have been a different story. So if we build in, and also in my presentation I spoke about tier 2 cities. So if these tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities become the hub of businesses, become the hub of entrepreneurship, then of course this situation will be solved.
Okay, sir. Nice, sir. Sir, there is one more question to Manoj, sir. Manoj, sir. Sir is on line, sir. Manoj, sir.
Yes, sir, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is a sir. We have learned so many lessons from COVID-19, sir. We have learned so many lessons from COVID-19. Okay, how these lessons can be useful for entrepreneurship, and in this context, what would be the role of colleges or even like government bodies, corporate companies? How can we use this kind of situation? This kind of pandemic situation can also be transformed into as an opportunity. So anything can be added, sir, for your disclosure. That's what the participant is asking.
So, for example, like if you see how the transformation is happened from the universities or a college or the school, most of the teachers were used to writing on the blackboard. today, if you see, they are adapted the technology, right? So this is itself is a transformation. The technology transformation is happening in such a way that most of the teachers and faculties, they're not used to coming on online and teaching students. Today they are adapted, so that is our strength, right? So we making that as a progress.
So like this, they have to identify the opportunities, identify the business opportunities. Okay.
Yes, exactly. So each situation, there is a opportunity occurs, right? You have to tap the right opportunity to get into there.
Yes, sir. Okay. Sir, you mentioned Manoj, sir, you mentioned like product design, sir. Product design is also important. So for which you have given an excellent example for this, like a restaurant you have given. And will it be appropriate and will it be useful for different kind of industries, sir? This kind of product design, whether it is service industry or manufacturing industry. So how this product design will be impacting the customer preferences?
See, for example, like the product in. See, when we're talking about the products, like customers interface what exactly the customer wants. Both the manufacturing as well as the service industry, it is applicable. So because when you manufacturing industry, you have to understand what the customers really need. If a person gives you from the other industry, they give you a design structure, you cannot design as per your wish. So you have to understand what exactly the customer client required, and you have to give exactly what they need. So that is a 99% or 100% you have to satisfy. That is the quality of your product. So even at the time of the service, customer is asking something, and if you do something else, it doesn't match there. Exactly. So you have to be proper. You have to tune yourself and exactly to understand what exact customers.
You mean to say like more customization must take place. More customization must take place.
Yes, exactly. The more customization take place, and you need to understand what exactly the customer needs. Right, so then only you will be able to deliver 100% usable product.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Nice, sir. Nice.
There is one question for Sharmila madam. There are
Hello, can you repeat the question?
Is not audible, sir.
Yeah.
They are asking what is the benefit? What is the benefit? What are the benefits of eating jaggery?
Okay, I guess jaggery benefits are now everyone knows in the market. Like I personally use jaggery in my day-to-day life because I prefer jaggery as calories with nutrients and sugar as empty calories. It's just a white sweetener, you can say, which can add a lot of troubles in your day-to-day life. So basically, jaggery contains more nutrients in terms of minerals which are required for the body. It helps in calcium absorption, which you can say interferes in calcium absorption and causes problems related to vitamin D, which can trouble the even immune system of our body. And then I guess the most important thing is jaggery is a complex sugar, and sugar is basically 100% sucrose. So to break down the complex sugar, it takes more time. So basically, both sugar and jaggery are not preferred for diabetic people, but normal people like who don't have increased blood sugar problem, they can have jaggery in their life and avoid their day-to-day health related issues, because jaggery will break down slowly as compared to sugar, and it will increase the blood glucose level but slowly, in slower rate, which sugar increases it at a higher rate. So yes, jaggery has definitely is beneficial than sugar.
How about tooth decay, Sharmili? Do you have any information about how sugar is affecting the teeth as well as how about jaggery? You have any information?
I have read the article. Basically, jaggery is useful for calcium absorption. So whatever food you take, the calcium needs to absorb in the body, and jaggery helps you with that. So your tooth decay and everything is related to calcium, right? So sugar, it interferes the calcium absorption. So it causes problem like any problem related to bones or teeth. So if you consume sugar in your day-to-day life, you are likely to have those problems in your in like
Later.
future. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you.
Sir, one more question to Senthil Kumar, sir. Sir,
Yes, sir.
there is a question that whether Lantana is in the market or if not, how much time it will take to come into the market? That is the question, sir.
Lantana camera is available in the market, but not even 1% of the Indian population knows what to do with that. Everybody knows cane, everybody knows bamboo, but Lantana camera is not known to most of the people. That's what I'm very much interested in influencing the central government about Lantana camera mission. Bamboo should be there in the land as well as in the forest because it's almost like a oxygen generator. In the world, two plants, actually bamboo is not a plant, it is a grass, all you know. So one more plant, tulasi. So bamboo and tulasi, they are the biologically they will release oxygen 24 hours. In fact, Tulasi is planted in Mars. How many of you know? I don't know. Tulasi was taken in the Mars instrument to see how it can be used in Mars for the future. It will release oxygen 24/7. That's what our forefathers used Tulasi plant in our home during the puja and everything. Even Lord Vishnu is offered only Vishnu's favorite plant is Tulasi because our forefathers wanted to provide the best thing for the people, so always they attached the godliness in that. So bamboo is also to be, it should not be cut, it should not be used for making baskets and everything. Because bamboo will release more oxygen. In fact, it will absorb more carbon dioxide and release more oxygen. Whereas lantana is a weed plant. It can be used for so many purposes, not only furniture. Not only furniture, it can be used for so many purposes. But the awareness is not there. Everybody is thinking lantana as a problem. And in fact, from lantana, we can take mosquito repellent liquids from the leaf, from the flowers. We can take micronutrients which can be used for the food industry. Color can be taken. So many medicinal properties are also there with the lantana. That's what I told. 3 lakh square kilometer of lantana is there in India. Even if you calculate per kg as 10 rupees, I don't know maths, I don't know what is the value. So many plenty of opportunities are there in Lantana. If your institution wants to have a center of excellence like converting this Lantana into this thing, I'm ready to provide my technology service like what I'm doing for the university. Maybe students can design much more things better than what I thought. So I'm offering this opportunity. We can get funding also, grant also from the Ministry of HRD. I know the top officials in Delhi. So if you want to write a proposal, I am ready to support.
Thank you, sir. Now I request
there is one more question. There is one more question, sir. Sharmili ma'am, sir. One more question. Sharmili ma'am. Ma'am, one mechanical graduate, okay, has been asking that he has been an average student, above average student, and he is at the same time he has been highly passionate towards agricultural farming, ma'am. Now he is asking, suppose if he picks up his mind towards agricultural farming activity, how can he convince the society and as well as his family to switch to this kind of agricultural activity? That's what his question, ma'am. Because disclosure mainly focuses on agricultural perspective, ma'am. Just I thought of asking this question to you, please, ma'am.
Okay. So I would like to mention, like, I am also from chemical engineering background. I'm not from agricultural background, and I have shifted myself from chemical engineering to agriculture because I was fascinated towards agriculture and helping the farmer society. So similarly, if he had some idea in his mind where he can get support from government or different organization, then definitely his parents also would support and don't care about society, because society is always there to come in between when you progress. So I mean, just keep progressing in your way, and then definitely you will achieve the success. So the important thing which is needed, like, you need to be passionate about something, and if he is passionate towards agriculture, then he should definitely enter into agriculture. Instead of spending his hours in mechanical industry, he should be focused in agriculture.
In fact, in agriculture also mechanical path is
that
there.
is that
Using
collaboration.
agriculture, you need mechanical engineering knowledge.
Exactly,
Yeah.
sir. Exactly. He can use his expertise, subject expertise in this kind of agriculture farming also, sir.
Agriculture
Yes,
also.
yes.
Yeah.
Nice, sir. Nice, sir. He's right. Okay, we'll inform him, sir. There is one more question last year for Sir Senthil Kumar, sir. Sir, like a question, an enthusiastic question from the students. How to move forward and what is the channel for meeting investors, sir? So as you are told rightly, and this kind of material, what you are told is Latina, and suppose if the students are really ignited and inspired, and what they are asking and their reference is, what are the channels for moving
Yeah.
forward?
I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to send all of you the invitation from India International Science Festival, in which I was one of the participants in India International Science Festival. The government of India invited me for my innovation to showcase my innovation. I will send you the brochure right now.
Yes, sir.
Till last year, it was conducted in so many cities like Chennai, Delhi, and I was participating in Lucknow. It was participated by the president as well as vice president, and all the investors and all these people were asked to assemble there. Not only the private equity or venture capitalists, in fact, the government funding organizations like BIRAC is there. Biological, Industrial Research and Academic Council is there. I think you academicians may know BIRAC. BIRAC is there. Department of Biotechnology is there. Department of Science and Technology is there. Something around 60 government departments are there in which they will support the innovations. In fact, there is an organization by in MHRD where they will support only for the innovation. And SIDBI Incubation Center is very successful in that. So the ideas has to be first showcased. And for this, the opportunity is India International Science Festival, in which right now in this year they are going for virtual exhibition. So my suggestion to the students, you have to find out the problem first. Search for the problems. Any problem can be converted into a challenge by making that problem into what kind of solution can be given. Uh, the third level can be a prototype model, and for that funding is available. Even for an idea, funding is available. That's what I suggested to Sharmili also. She already applied for three for her innovative ideas. So what she told is idea into thoughts. It's possible with the proper mentoring. I would suggest to the students to have proper mentors actually. Even before the investing in the investors, who are your mentors will be the first question asked to the entrepreneurs or the students. The people, for example, if I am supporting Sharmili, or if I am bringing few more very reliable people on her mentor panel, the proposal will be looked upon. Oh, you are having mentor from so and so people. So my suggestion for the youngsters: have an idea, have proper mentors, then investment is not a big deal. I have people who are ready to invest. So investment is not a problem at all. Either banking or a private equity or venture capitalist bringing to your college is not a big deal. If you want, I can bring virtually also. They need not come to your place in presence. After this COVID period, we can come, but actually virtually also we can make. If the people are able to solve the present day problems, and my suggestion will be concentrate on direct to customers model rather than having a factory setup. Somebody can produce. All of you know very well this iPhone which we are buying, for example, any phone. It is not manufactured by iPhone in their own factory. It is outsourced. Only they are concentrating on the marketing. So like Oyo or Ola, anything, it is like an exponential organization where somebody will produce, somebody will do the value chain, and only the marketing activity, the idea will be taken care of with the founders. So that's called exponential organization. To start a new company, it's not that the concept of you should have a land in building and in your name and all these things need not be there. You can collaborate, cooperate, and investors are there. It's not an issue. Private equity is there, but have proper mentors. That is more important. Then investors will be even brought in by the mentors then.
You mean to say that that idea is being generated from the market, sir, from the market and from the customer itself, rather than the competitors, rather than the industry,
I will just give one
manufacturing
example.
industry.
I'll just give an example. The Delhi was choked several months before COVID because of the burning of that gas, all of you know, because of the whatever the waste available in their farmland in Punjab, Haryana, they burnt it. Actually, to be very honest, I was telling even to Sharmili, the sugarcane waste can be converted into a bagasse, can be converted into a plate or so many other things rather than burning it. So for somebody it is a problem, but for the other persons it can be converting into a product.
Exactly.
Actually I love to hear more problems. So that is actually an opportunity.
Very nice, sir. Very nice, sir.
One more question to Madam. Whether the Jaggery reduces anemia? That's the
Sorry?
question. Whether Jaggery reduces anemia?
Yes, it is high
Yes,
in iron content, so it will definitely help in anemic conditions.
it is true. What she told is true.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Now I request our Dean R&D, R&D, Dr. Krishna Rao sir, to give concluding remarks.
Yeah, very good afternoon. It's a very good session that all the delegates that have given a very good presentation, and they all are excited because how to incubate good ideas and how to become entrepreneur and how to start new ideas and all. So only when the people having a passionate that towards that new things, and only when they roam around in the villages, that's why that internship and all was introduced. They go and find out the problems in the villages and among the people. Only when if they roam around that people, they find some good problems. What are the problems they are facing, and what are the solutions that they can find out, and only from that innovation, and that could be possible to have a incubation and entrepreneurship good research initiatives. So that is very fine, and all the members have given a very good advantage, and I come to know very good points like bamboo will give the oxygen level all the time, and the tulsi also giving. So the tulsi is using in Ayurveda mostly, and jaggery also, it is a very good advantage giving iron content. Ayurveda doctors will tell to eat jaggery to reduce the anemia and all. And even sugar, it is very prone to cancer and all. The cancer people cannot consume the sugar and all, to avoid completely the sugar. Not only sugar patients, all the people should avoid the sugar to avoid the infections in the blood and all. So that is very good points and given, and very nice initiatives given today. That thank you very much. Thank you very much, all of you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. Venkateswarlu to propose vote of thanks.
Okay, sir. Narendra Babu, sir. Okay. Sir, we sincerely very thankful to our resource persons, sir. Mr. Vikas Mandral and Madam Dr. Sharmili Mane and Mr. K. Senthil Kumar and Mr. M.S. Manoj. Really, it is very exciting, sir. For the last 1 hour 50 minutes, the session was going on very well. And one thing, it has been very clearly what is identified by the participants. That Senthil Kumar sir and other team members, our resource persons, they are very exciteful, and whatever we ask, they are showing the way and the way how to solve any kind of problem. And really, in the current scenario, in this kind of situation, though we are meeting them virtually, they are providing us very positive solutions and suggestions, which are very much impacting the audience, sir. So this kind of session is becoming like very much fruitful, sir, and useful for all our participants. And we will be in touch with you, sir. Specifically, Senthil Kumar sir, for your excellent contribution, sir, and excellent support. And through your team, you are able to give us, and we are always keeping you in our mind, sir, all the team members, all our resource persons. And it is my great privilege to propose a vote of thanks and for providing your valuable inputs to all our participants with your effective interaction. Despite the busy schedules and preoccupations, You are very kind enough to accept our invitation and made this webinar more informative and worth participating by all our guests. Also, our profound thanks to our Vice Chairman, Sri L. Prasad Reddy sir, President G. Srinivas Reddy sir, and our Principal, Dr. K. Apparao sir, for giving their fullest support to conduct this webinar with more enthusiasm. Also, our sincere thanks to the conveners and their team members, technical branch staff members, and all participants for making this webinar a grand success. Once again, thank you one and all, sir. Thanks for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Nice
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ola.
We'll be in touch with you, madam.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Senthil Kumar sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.